Well, happy Friday to everybody. Hope your week went well and hope your weekend's going to be off to a good start. We're at the final game, at least the ones that are being streamed, of June 29th. There are a couple games I'll play offline, but this is the final one for this week. Final game of June 29th, game 517 overall. Minnesota Twins taking on the Kansas City Royals from Royal Stadium. Royal Stadium is symmetrical. Singles a little more plentiful at 1 to 11, but home runs are hard to come by 1 to 3. Kansas City won the real game 3 to 2. Pitching matchup, Les Straker for the Twins, right-hander, and left-hander Danny Jackson for the Royals. Minnesota comes in 36 and 39. Kansas City comes in dead even 36 and 36. Good morning, Jim and Dan. Hope you're doing well. We'll look at Danny Jackson first. And Danny Jackson has been overperforming in this replay, no question about it. Look at his numbers real world. Danny Jackson was 9 and 18 with a 4.02 ERA. He is currently 7 and 3 with an ERA barely above 3 in the replay. In fact, to be exact, his ERA is 3.10 in the replay. 107 innings pitched, 97 hits, 58 walks, 80 strikeouts. Let's see here. His net hold is a 0. He is a -1, and Quirk's a +1. His wild pitch is a 4, balk's a 0. Pass ball on Quirk is a 6. We'll get to Straker and the Twins in the bottom of the inning. So for the Twins, basically normal lineup, except they don't have Gaetti. They've got Smalley at third instead of Gaetti. But other than that, it's not too much of a strange lineup for them. Al What Me Worry Newman is going to lead things off for the Twins. He's hitting 256 on the replay. No homers, 10 driven in. He hit 221 in the real world. He is a switch hitter, will bat right-handed. Got our dice right here. And before the first dice roll and pitch is done, we have the ceremonial first sip. And that is some good coffee. All right. I do believe we got as close as here as I can get without cutting anything off. Let me see if I can get maybe one more notch closer. I think we can fit a little bit more in there. All right. The smaller dice thing definitely helps. No question about it. All right. Here's Danny Jackson facing Al Newman. 310. Newman against the lefty. That's a split chance. 1 to 6 is a double. 7 to 20 is a single. And there's a leadoff single for Al Newman. Again, hold is a 0. So if he gets the lead, it'd be a 1 to 13 after being -2 for being held. So he's going to try for the lead. Needs a 2 through 8 or a 10. He gets caught on a 9 automatically. That's an 11, so he doesn't get the lead. And I'll roll to make sure there's no pickoff or anything. There's not. Okay, so he can't go anywhere. Now here's Mark Davidson. Davidson, the right fielder in this game, comes in hitting 210 on the replay, a homer and 7 driven in. He had 267 real world, but he's in there mostly because he's left-handed. He faced lefties 69% of the time. He was definitely kind of a platoon guy with Randy Bush. That's a 3-7 against the lefty, and that's a strikeout. Strikeout number 1. For Danny Jackson. That'll bring up Kirby Puckett, center fielder. Puckett hitting 324 on the replay, 11 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 332 real world. That's a 5-12. That's ground ball first base C, so the runner will advance to second. Newman will take second on the play. Brett's only play was to flip it to Jackson covering for out number 2. So a runner is in scoring position now for Tom Brunansky, right fielder. Designated hitter in this game. Brunansky hitting 265 on the replay, 13 homers, 33 driven in. He had 259 real world against the lefty in the clutch. He will lose 1 hit on 312. Everywhere else he is neutral. It's a 2-6, and that's a ground ball to third. And Seitzer has it, throws to first, and that's going to end the inning. So nothing doing for the Twins in the first. We go to the bottom of the first. It is Minnesota nothing and Kansas City coming to bat. And Les Straker, a right-hander, will be on the mound for the Twins. We look at Les Straker's numbers on the replay or on the real season. He was 8-10 with a .437 earned run average. On the replay, he is 3-4 with an ERA of 5.31. 59 innings pitched, 67 hits, 35 walks, 30 strikeouts. So the fact that he's got more walks than strikeouts is a little alarming, considering he had 59 walks, 76 strikeouts real world. So for whatever reason, he's had lack of control in the replay. And he'll be facing Willie Wilson to start things off. Now, Straker, not a very good hold. He's a +2. And then the catcher, Butera, is a +2 for a +4. So that means Willie Wilson and some of the faster Royals will be looking to steal, or at least get good leads anyway, to try to steal. Butera is also very bad at pass ball. He's a 14 pass ball rating. Straker's a 13 balk rating and a 5 wild pitch rating. So pretty high balk rating for Straker. Here's Willie Wilson hitting .269 on the replay. 2 homers, 14 driven in. Get .279 real world. Switch hitter. 1-6, and he will fly it to Puckett in center field. And we're underway in the bottom of the first. That'll bring up Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer, third baseman, hitting .301 on the replay. 9 homers, 38 driven in. He hit .323 real world. That's a 3-6, and that's going to be a base on balls. And again, Straker with those walks. They'll get him in trouble. Seitzer will be looking to get a good lead. Needs a 5 or a 6. Doesn't get the good lead, so he'll hold. And here's the veteran George Brett. Brett hitting .295 on the replay. 7 homers, 15 driven in. He hit .290 real world. 5'8" lefty struck him out. So Straker gets the first strikeout of the game for him. 2 down, and that's going to send us to Danny Tartable, right fielder. Tartable hitting .319 on the replay. 16 homers, 50 driven in. He hit .309 real world. That's a 2-4, and that will be a ground ball to short and an easy inning for Les Straker as he takes care of the Royals. So no score after 1 from Royal Stadium. Danny Jackson back out will face Kent Herbeck, who is not the best against left-handed pitching, which is why they dropped him down to a 5th spot versus he usually hits behind Puckett, but not with the lefty on the mound. Good morning, Jim. I'm glad you picked up Strat. It's a great game. I mean, like I said, if you watch the channel in any length of time or look at my playlist, you can see I've played lots of the games out there. But this is the game I go back to. This is my bread and butter. And I have a feeling it will always be my bread and butter. It always has a special place in my heart. Now, do I agree with all the business practices of the company? No. But the game itself, I don't think you can beat it. To me, it's the best thing going. If you're a wrestling fan, I'll give a Ric Flair impersonation. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, learn to live with it because it's the best thing going today. That's a quote from Ric Flair back in the day in his promos. And I stand by that. There's not a game out there that can touch it. I don't care what other game you want to talk about. This game is head and shoulders above everything else. All right, here is Kent. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, everybody has their own opinion. That's why I say play the game the way you want to play it. Play whatever game you want to play the way you want to play it because everybody has a different opinion. I'm just giving you mine. Nobody's opinion is right or wrong. It's just how I feel about the game. All right, here is Kent Herbeck. He's hitting .290, 18 homers, 55 driven in. He hit .285 real world. Lefty-lefty matchup. 4-6, and that's going to be a ground ball shortstop X. First X chance of the game, and it belongs to Luis Salazar, shortstop. He is a 2, so it's going to be in this column here. He basically needs a 3 or better to to get to it. That's a 1. It's going to get through for a base hit. Well, that double die strikes again. E16 for a shortstop. He's got to avoid 14 and 17. Just has to avoid 14 and 17. That's it. Which he does, but the base hit sneaks through on the AstroTurf. I guess he snuck it by Salazar. Back, remember, Royal Stadium was AstroTurf back in '87. I'm glad you appreciate it, Jim. That's one of the reasons why I did it. I was hoping somebody would get something out of it. So at least we found one person that got something out of it. So it was worthwhile. Thinking about maybe at some point going back and doing another version of that. Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I just think I don't know. It's hard to explain. To me, this is just home when it comes to hobby. This is the home. This is the home game. You can travel and visit other games, but it's no place like home, as Dorothy said in The Wizard of Oz. And to me, this is home. All right, Dan Gladden, 237 average, 5 homers, 21 driven in, hit 249 real world. I know we know it's got its faults, but so does everything else. 3-9, and that's a lefty. That's going to be a line out to second base. Snagged by Frank White. 1 down. And that'll bring up Roy Smalley. I guess Gaetti is still a little dinged up because normally he would be playing here against the lefty. But Smalley it is. Smalley on the replay hitting 272. 5 homers, 28 driven in. He at 275 real world. It's a 3-4, and that's a line out to third. Snagged by Seitzer. 2 down. And that'll bring up Greg Gagne, shortstop. Gagne hitting 364 on the replay. He may be one of the guys that's overperforming the most. He's hitting 364, 8 homers, 40 driven in. He only hit 265 the whole season, but he has really overperformed. 5-10, and that's a strikeout for Jackson. That will end the inning. The leadoff single from Herbeck doesn't amount to anything. We go to the bottom of the second. Hello, Jeremiah. I encourage anybody to get back into the hobby if they've been away, whether it's Strat or anything else. But, of course, I would lean you to Strat, but I'm biased. So I make no apologies for being biased. I go against the grain on that on a lot of things. I'm not into the AI or the chat GPT or whatever the heck they call it. I'm old school with a capital O. So just how it is. I'm kind of like the get off my lawn guy when it comes to that. So even just old and cranky, I don't know. All right, 233 average for Frank White on the replay. 10 homers, 27 driven in. He at 245 real world. So I'm 61, so call that old. I don't know. It depends on your perspective, I guess. 2-9 against the righty is a 1-19 single. And that is a base hit for Frank White. I remember when I was a teenager, I thought 40 was old. My mother turned 40. I thought she was over. Used to have expression about being over the hill. Now 40 is like the new teenager or something, you know. So anyway, Frank White is aboard. Let's see. With that +4, it might be tempting to try to get a lead. He needs a 4 to get the lead. But if he gets a 7, he's caught stealing. That's an 8, so he can't get the lead. But I thought I'd try it just for the heck of it. Hello, Dr. D. Good to see you. Jim Eisenreich, the batter. He's only had 9 at-bats so far in the season. He's 2 for 9. No homers, 2 driven in for a 222 average. He had 238 real world. That's a 6'11 lefty, and that's a ballpark blast, but it's not very friendly at Royal Stadium, only a 1-3. He does have normal power, but he's got to get a 1-3. Whoops, that fell out of my hand. He's got to get a 1-3, and he does not, so it's a fly out to right field. It's got to go down the chute. He can't just slip out of my hand and fall here, or else it does not count. All right, so Eisenreich is out, and here's Bo Jackson. Interesting thing about this game, real world. This game was cut short in the bottom of the fifth due to rain. Minnesota was winning this game going into the bottom of the fifth. Bo Jackson hit a home run to take the lead in the bottom of the fifth, and then like the next batter, the game was called for rain. So they had a rain delay. They came back, and Bo Jackson did enough to hit a home run to give them the lead, and then they called it. So that was kind of weird. Felt kind of bad for Minnesota that, but it's an official game. Once the home team bats in the fifth inning and they're ahead, it's an official game. So that's the way it was. All right, here is Bo Jackson hitting 252 on the replay, 11 homers, 29 driven in. And he hit 235 real world. 5-8, and that's a pop-up to second base. Newman will haul it in, 2 down. And bring us to Angel Salazar, or also known as Argenis Salazar, more formally. Salazar hitting 226 on the replay, 2 homers, 14 driven in. He hit 205 real world. 410, and that is an in-home run chance, 1-10. He does have weak power, though, so it cannot be a home run. He'd actually be better off hitting the double categories. 1-10 is a single, 11-20 is a double. That's going to be a single. Would have been a home run, but he has weak power. It is a single with 2 stars, and that'll put runners on the corners. And now Salazar could think about trying to run here, but he also has a chance of getting caught. And we got a guy on first and third. You want to give your batter a chance. So Jamie Quirk will step in. Jamie Quirk hitting 277 on the replay, 2 homers, 20 driven in. He hit 236 real world. It's a clutch situation, and Jamie Quirk actually does well in the clutch. He gains hits on 1-9, 2-6, and 2-8. That's a 6-6, though, and it will be a base on ball, so that will load the bases. Another walk issue by Straker. Those walks are going to really end up biting him in the end. Bases loaded, 2 outs for Willie Wilson. And in the clutch, Wilson is the exact opposite of Quirk. He's not very good at all. Loses hits 2-8, 3-8, 3-9, and 3-10. So he loses 4 separate hits in the clutch. Hello, RN. So that's a 2-4, and that is a ballpark single chance. So he's got a chance. 1-11. This could give them the lead to be a 1-base advancement only, but a 1-11 is a base hit. And it is. It was a 13. It rolled back to a 1 at the last minute. So it's RBI single from Willie Wilson will score Frank White, and the Royals take a 1-0 lead. Everybody else moves up 90 feet. Willie Wilson gets his 15th run batted in. He had 30 runs batted in the actual season. Base is still loaded for Kevin Seitzer. Seitzer in the clutch. Seitzer in the clutch against righties will lose a hit on 1-3, and that's it. Whoa, missed the tray there. Let's try it again. I'm doing that left-handed. I'm not ambidextrous. So. 6-4, and that's another ballpark single chance. Another 1-11. And that's a base hit with 1-star advancement. So the base hits from Royal Stadium are cashed. The Royals are cashing those in. They now lead it 2-0. Base is still loaded for George Brett. And in the clutch for Brett, he gains a hit 3-2. Everywhere else he is neutral. That's a 4-10. And that's a, look at this, 4-10. Let's get the close-up here, folks. 4-10 off a left Straker against a left-hander is an in-home run, straight up in-home run for George Brett, who you know has normal power. So that is a grand salami for George Brett. And Les Straker won't be long for this game. George Brett, the grand salami. A 6-run inning, 6-run outburst for the Kansas City Royals. And we'll get the home runs for Brett on the replay. That was his 10th home run of the season. He had 15 real world. That's his 10th home run on the replay. RBIs 39, 40, 41, and 42. And all of a sudden, it is a 6-0 ball game. I'm sorry, I was looking at Seitzer's numbers. My bad. Let me get over to Brett's. Brett, that was his 8th home run. I messed that up. I hadn't switched Seitzer on the computer yet. Hold on, let me fix this. For Brett, that was his 8th home run. He had 22 real world. That's his 8th home run. RBIs 16, 17, 18, and 19. So he's off to a slow start, but boy, that grand slam certainly will get him kick-started. And Les Straker is tired because he gave up the 6 runs now. So he's listed as fatigued, but there are 2 outs in the inning, so he's pitched to Tartable, 9th man to bat in the inning. 6-5, and that's a pop out to first to end the inning. So the Royals send 9 to the plate, and they get the max 6 runs. They get a 6-pack. Royals get a 6-pack and take a commanding 6-0 lead over the Twins. Danny Jackson getting some run support again, which is why he's got such a good record, I think. Plus, he's pitching a little bit better ERA-wise, but still, you got to have the run support to get that win-loss record up there. And here's Sal Butera hitting 194 on the replay, a homer and 6 driven in. He hit 171 real world. 3-5, and that is a pop-up to short. 1 away. Here's Al Newman. 5-8, switch hitter against a right-hander is a fly to left. That's 2 away. Mark Davidson. 1-8 against the lefty, and that's a single. 2-out single for Davidson. He will be held, but he won't go anywhere. And here is Kirby Puckett trying to start a 2-out rally. 3-9 against the lefty. It's a split. 1-6 is a single. 18, he will line it to Gagne to end the inning. I'm sorry, to Salazar to end the inning. Nothing to it for the Twins. Shutdown inning for Danny Jackson. Les Straker is going to come back out there and try to eat another inning for Tom Kelly. And we have Jamie Quirk, the batter. No, that's not right. Jamie Quirk is not the batter. Got these guys out of order. It's actually going to be Frank White. How Jamie Quirk got out of the order, I have no idea. That was really weird. It's actually going to be Frank White. He started the previous inning with a seemingly innocent single, but it led to 6 runs. That's a 2-5 for Frank White, and that's a pop-up to first. 1 away. Keep in mind that Straker is tired, so if he hits a dot, that's going to be a turn into a base hit and will force, in my homebrew rules, will force an automatic replacement. But they're going to let him see if he can sneak another inning out at least. Try to get at least 3 innings out of him. Here's Eisenreich. 6-5, and that's a fly to center, so he's certainly doing better this inning. 2 up, 2 down for Bo. Got to be careful with Bo, though. 5-5, and that's going to be a fly to right field. So 3 up, 3 down inning for Straker. Just because the starter reaches fatigue doesn't mean he can't keep pitching. I mean, there's a chance he can wiggle his way through a couple of more innings, and that's what we're going to do. Try to save the Twins bullpen. All right, so we go to top of the 4th, and it'll be Tom Bernansky leading things off. That's a 2-8 against the lefty, and that's a ballpark blast for Bernansky. Unfortunately for him, it's only a 1-3 chance. And that's going to be a deep drive to left that falls short. Hauled in by Bo Jackson. 1 away. Here's Kent Herbeck. That's a 1-4 for Herbeck, and that's a ground ball right back to Danny Jackson. 2 down. Here is Danny Gladden. 5-7, and that's a single 1-2. Anything else he lines it to Salazar. And that'll be a line out to Salazar to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down for Jackson. He has been very efficient, shutting down the Twins lineup. And here's Straker back out, going to try to negotiate one more inning at least. And he'll be facing the bottom of the order, Salazar, Quirk, and then Wilson. 4-6, and that's a strikeout. It would have been a strikeout, but it's a fatigue result, and now he's going to have to come out. He hit the dot, and that's going to turn into a base hit, and that'll do it for Les Straker. Straker is gone. Straker's going to go 3+, and he's going to give up 6 runs, all earned, but he's still responsible for this guy, so it could be a 7th run. You never know. He walked 2, and he only struck out 1, and he gave up a total of 6 hits. And now the Twins will go to their bullpen for some length, somebody that can eat some innings. All their relievers have 2s, so it's just a matter of who they want to try to go to. And let's see how they want to play this. It's going to be Quirk, Wilson, and Seitzer coming up. So let's see who's got the best rest in the bullpen for the Twins. These are the 4 pitchers they have available. Left-hander Dan Schatzeder, and then the 3 right-handers, Atherton, Frazier, and Reardon. They all have fatigue ratings of 2. So let's see here. It looks like it'll be Dan Schatzeder. He's got the best rest of any of them. So Dan Schatzeder will come on and pitch. This is what they call mop-up duty. Schatzeder is a 0 hold, so that makes him a 1 +1. So Schatzeder is in. Let's get the numbers on Schatzeder. First in the real world season, Dan Schatzeder was 3-1 with a 6.39 earned run average. Not very good, obviously. And let's see what he's done on the replay to date. He's only pitched 5 innings so far. He's got no one-loss record, a 6.75 earned run average. 5 innings pitched, 8 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. So he's on to face Jamie Quirk. Catcher Jamie Quirk. That's a 5-8. 5-8 lefty is a ground ball shortstop X. Shortstop is Gagne. The runner on first, Salazar, was being held. So turns Gagne into a 3. So it's a 3 E24. 3 and a 16 might be a double play chance anyway. Let's see here. 3 and a 16 is still going to be a G1. So chance of a double play here. Gagne's an E24. He has to avoid 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. And that's a 9, so he does it. It's going to be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop, tailor-made double play, 6-4-3. Just what the doctor ordered from Schatzeder to take care of Jamie Quirk. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Stop by and see them. Tell them Demo sent you. They'll give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the tailor-made double play of the game. And that was definitely tailor-made for Dan Schatzeder. Here's Wilson now, 2 outs, bases clear. And we get a 3-7. Switch hitter batting right-handed against Schatzeder. 3-7 struck him out. So Schatzeder comes in and shuts the door and keeps things within reason. That's 6-0, if you want to call that reason. Go to the top of the 5th. Jackson back out. He will face Roy Smalley. Gagne and Butera, bottom of the order. That's a 1-8 against the lefty, and that's a ground ball to short. Salazar is there. 1 away. Greg Gagne, the batter, struck out his first chance. 3-8, and this time it's a base hit for Greg Gagne. He will be held with down 6-0. They will not try to steal. Here is Butera. Whoa, missed the boat there. Did it again. Well, I'm not really good left-handed, apparently. 6-9, and that's going to be a 1-11 double. 12-20 is a single. That is a double, 2 stars, so that'll move Gagne to third base. Twins finally showing some life from the bottom of the order, no less. Second and third, 1 out. Infield, of course, is back for the Royals. They lead 6-0. No reason to play the infield in. Here's Newman. And that's a 6-9, switcher to batting right-handed, and that's going to score 2 runs. I think this is the same roll we just had, 6-9. It is going to be a double, so back-to-back doubles. This one's a 2-run double, and all of a sudden it's a 6-2 ball game, and the Twins are saying, hey, we're not out of this thing yet. It's 6-2 that quickly. And there's still, 5 innings to go almost, so anything can happen. Here's Mark Davidson, still only 1 out. 3-10, and that's a fly to left, out number 2. Now it's a clutch situation for Kirby Puckett. Puckett not as good in the clutch as you would think he might be, according to Strat anyway. He loses hits 2-6 and 3-5 and 3-10. That's a 2, possible ball for pass ball. Looking at a possible pass ball on Quirk, he's a 6. No pass ball. So here is Puckett. 5-4, and that's a fly ball center field X. We're looking at Willie Wilson. He's a 1. We know he's going to get to it. The only way he can make an error with an E1 is to roll a 17. And he does not. It's a rare play, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think that's anything's going to come up with that, but I'll check it anyway just for kicks and giggles. The Strat-O-Matic rare play on a, well, let's see what the, it's a 13, so I think that's considered a F1. It's an F2. Okay, so it's an F2 rare play. So the outfitter catches the ball for out. You can stop right there because it's the third out of the inning, so there's no reason to go anywhere else on that. Wilson makes the catch, but 2 runs for the Twins. Get some semi back in the game. 6-2. Might need the decider die to see if they're in the game or not. But there's semi there. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Shot setter back out. Pitched a very effective 2/3 of an inning in relief. We'll come back out and face the heart of the order. And Kevin Seitzer. 111, and that's against a lefty. That's a fly to right field. 1 away for George Brett. He hit the grand slam his last time up. 1-7. This time he will settle with a single. So at least they kept Brett in the ballpark. 1 out single for Brett brings up Mr. Tartable. Tartable's 0 for 2. That's a 4-10, right-handed, and that's an in-home run chance right there off shot setter, just like we had off of Straker. 4-10, right-handed is an in-home run, and Tartable's not going to miss it. It's a 2-run bomb, so they get those 2 runs right back that they gave up, and the lead returns to 6. It is now 8-2 for Danny Tartable. That is his 17th home run of the replay. He had 34 of them real world. That's about 263 he just had, and he has 17 home runs in 582 at-bats. He had 34 home runs. RBIs number 51 and 52 for Tartable on the replay. And the lead grows back to 6 at 8-2. Here's Frank White. That's a leaner, but I'll knock it down. 2-11, and that's a ballpark single chance on a 1-11. And that's going to be a 12, so he will line it to short. 2 down. for Mr. Eisenreich. Eisenreich's the DH. He only faced lefties 3% of the time. I guess this could be one of the 3%. 6-9, and he's going to get a base hit out of it. How about that? 1-2 is a double. Anything else is a single. So it's a single for Eisenreich, a 2-out single for Jim Eisenreich against the lefty. Here's Bo Jackson. Whoops, didn't need to hit that. Bo knows 3-4 and fly to center. Boy, Bo almost got the home run chance there. It's a fly to center, but not missing the home run chance was Tartable. He puts the 2 runs on the board, gets those back, and at the end of 5, it is Kansas City comfortably in front 8-2. This is the fatigue inning for Danny Jackson, number 6, so we'll keep an eye on him, see how he's doing fatigue-wise. Brunansky is your batter. 110, and that's a ballpark blast for Brunansky, but again, only a 1-3, so the likelihood is not very good. And it's not. Another deep fly to left field. Royal Stadium keeping some of these homers that would be homers in the Homer Dome in Minnesota, but they're not that way in Kansas City. Here's Herbeck. 5-9, and that's a strikeout. Danny Jackson, that's only his 3rd strikeout of the game, but he hasn't needed a lot of strikeouts. He's just been in control most of the game. Had a little rough go of it there in the 5th inning, but other than that, he's been in control. Here's Gladden. 1-9 for Gladden. 1-6 is a single. Anything else, he lines to short. And he will line it to short to end the inning. So Danny Jackson keeps full endurance into the 7th inning. Schatzeder, this will be his 3rd inning of work. He'll be facing Salazar, Quirk, and Wilson. George Frazier is loosening the Twins bullpen to kind of help Schatzeder out, so we can cap Straker at 6 innings. 6 runs rather. Forgot to fill that in. Here's Salazar, 5-8, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Gagne. It's a 2E24, 2-11. He'll get to it. E24 as a shortstop. Has to avoid 4, 6, 15, 17, and 18. And a 10 is just fine. So ground ball to short, and that'll take care of Salazar. 1 away. 1 down, and that's going to take us to Jamie Quirk. I think I messed up something on the computer. Let me fix that real quick. So Herbeck was a strikeout victim. I forgot to put these in the computer for Minnesota, so I need to fill them in real quick. Now we do Salazar's grounder to short, and we're back on track. For Jamie Quirk, lefty-lefty matchup. 2-6 for Quirk, and that's a strikeout for Schatzeder. That's his 2nd strikeout. And Willie Wilson, your batter. Wilson 1 for 3. 3-2 against the lefty is a fly to left, and that'll end the inning. So that'll do it for Schatzeder. He's going to go 3 innings. Give up 2 runs. They were earned due to the home run. He struck out 2. He didn't walk anybody, gave up 3 hits. So we go to the 7th inning. George Frazier will be the new Twins pitcher to try to cover those last 2 innings for the Twins. Right now, Danny Jackson has full endurance into the 7th inning. And he will be facing the bottom of the order, Smalley, Gagne, and Butera. It's a 1-4, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. 1-11 for Smalley. And that's a base hit, Roy Smalley. So Smalley starts out with a leadoff single. That'll bring up Greg Gagne. 4-5. 4-5 will be a fly to center. Willie Wilson right there to field it. Butera is up. He is 1 for 2 with a double. 5-9, he flies to right field. Tartabull hauls it in, 2 down. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Al Newman. So Smalley, the leadoff single, but he's still stranded at first base. 6-5, switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ground ball to second, and that will take care of things. Danny Jackson at least going to go 7. I think he's going to start the 8th inning as well. May as well. He got a 6-run lead. And now we go to the bottom of the 7th inning stretch time. And we're going to look at the new pitcher for the Twins. And that is George Frazier. Get the numbers on Frazier. Frazier, real world numbers, 1987. 5-5 with a 4.98 ERA. And he garnered 2 saves. On the replay, Frazier is 3-2 with 1 save, but an ERA of 7.58. 46 innings pitched, 53 hits, 36 walks, 37 strikeouts. So George Frazier, again, definition of mop-up duty. And he's a +5, but I don't think the Royals are going to run when they're up 8-2. They won the real game 3-2, but this one's nowhere near as close. And Kevin Seitzer will lead things off against George Frazier. 3-5, and that's going to be a walk, leadoff walk. And they won't hold him on, and they won't. It's kind of like the gentleman's agreement here with the 6-run difference in the bottom of the 7th. They're not going to do any base running. Here's George Brett. He has hit a grand slam and had a single. That's a 2-3 for Brett against the right-hander, and that's a strikeout plus injury. So George Brett could be gone the rest of this game. A 1-6 on the D20 can stay in. 7 or higher, he's going to leave the game. So he's going to have to, he will stay in. I take it back. He got a 3, so he fights it off. George Brett toughs it out. Stays in the game. Now here's Tartabull. He hit his 17th home run his last time up. 2-11, and that's going to be a ground ball to short. And it's also ground ball shortstop A, so another Giovanni's Taylor shot, tailor-made double play to get the Twins out of the inning. So without those 2 double plays, there's no telling how many runs the Royals would have right now. We've got 8 as it is, but 2 double plays certainly help the cause for the Twins to minimize further damage. Frazier gets out of it. Of course, he'll pitch the 8th inning just to, not if you use any other pitchers, try to keep Atherton and Reardon fresh. Top of the 8th, Danny Jackson still has good fatigue. And he'll be facing Davidson. I need to back up 1 notch there. So Davidson will be the leadoff hitter. That's a 2-7 against the lefty, and that's a strikeout. For Jackson, that is only his 4th strikeout, but he hasn't really needed a whole lot of strikeouts in this game. He's been in charge the whole time. Here's Kirby Puckett. It's a 4-12 right-handed. Fly ball right field X. We're looking at Tartabull. He's a 4-7 as an outfielder. So as a 4 in the outfield, he's got to get a 12 or higher on the D20 to catch this. He does not. That's a 3, so that'll be a double. And where is the error? He's an E7. Got to avoid 6, 15, 16, and 18. And 8 is fine, but it'll be a double. Kirby Puckett It's one in the gap that Tartable can't run down. So Puckett's at second base with 1 out for Tom Brunansky. 0 for 3 for Bruno. 5-8. Make it 0 for 4 as he flies to left. 2 down. And that will send up Kent Herbeck. Herbeck is 1 for 3. And to kind of be realistic, we're going to take Herbeck out. He actually was injured in this game real world. He got hit in the wrist and missed the June 30th game. So we'll kind of try to follow that as well here, even though it's not that important, but just something to do. So we'll do that, and they will instead bring in Gene Larkin, and Larkin will play first base in their next game because of the injury to Herbeck. Herbeck will come back July 1st. So Larkin will come in and pinch hit and take over at first base for Herbeck. So Larkin is your guy. Still technically by definition a clutch situation for a Larkin. Against lefties, he's not very good. 2.6 and 2.9, he loses hits. So Larkin, let's get the numbers on Larkin on the replay and on real world, obviously. As we bring Larkin in. Larkin on the replay is hitting .342, a homer and 9 driven in. He at .266 real world. There's a 1-7 against the lefty, and he struck him out. That's going to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Danny Jackson looks like he's going for a complete game. Frazier going to come back out and pitch the 8th and just try to get through it. Frank White, your leadoff hitter, followed by Eisenreich and Jackson. 4-7, and that's going to be a 1-17 single off of Frazier, and that's a base hit for Frank White, his second hit of the game. For Kansas City. The computer's going to make me put Larkin in at first base before I can type anything else in. The base hit by Frank White, and for Kansas City, that's their 10th hit of the game. And here's Eisenreich. Whoops. Eisenreich. 1-7, and that's a solid double for Jim Eisenreich. That'll put runners at second and third with nobody out. For Bo Jackson. Infield is back. They need outs. They don't care about 1 run. 1-4, and that's a strikeout. That's a good start for Frazier to have a strikeout. His second strikeout of the game. Here's Angel Salazar. Now with 1 out, they'll go ahead and play in with 1 out. Just for the heck of it, not that it matters. 2-4, and that's a pop out to second base. So it truly didn't matter because neither one would have scored on anything in or out of the infield. And here's Jamie Quirk. Still by definition a clutch situation. Second and third. 1 out. Or 2 outs, rather, and here's Frazier. 5'10" lefty. Catcher X. This is where you can run into problems because Mr. Butera could potentially be a pass ball waiting to happen. So we come over here. Catcher X. Butera is a 4. So we're looking here on 4. We get a 16. 4 and a 16 is a P/F, so that's a possible pass ball. Now we're looking at his error rating, which is a 5. And that's a 15. 16, 17, and 18 are errors, but not 15. So it will be a P. It will be a P/F, which says that's up to the wild pitch rating of Frazier to determine if it's a pass ball or not. So Frazier's wild pitch rating is a 15. So 1 to 15 is going to be a pass ball. And it is. So that's going to score another run, unearned run, pass ball on Butera. And that will make the score now 9 to 2. Quirk still at bat, 2 down for Jamie Quirk. 3-8 for Quirk, and that's a walk. That'll continue the inning. And flip it over to Willie Wilson. Frazier is listed as tired, but they're going to try to sneak this last out of him. No way they're going to another pitcher. 2-8. 2-8 is going to be a single for Willie Wilson, but still by definition, by rule, unless somebody can show me otherwise, by rule, no matter what the score is, if it's a clutch situation, it's a clutch situation. And a 2-8 against a right-hander is an anti-clutch for Willie Wilson. So this will turn from a base hit into a pop out to short. And George Frazier is very thankful of that. 1 run there. I think it's safe to put the X here, no problem. Not worried about any comebacks here. Get the numbers on Frazier. Frazier's going to go 2 innings. He's going to give up 1 run, which was earned. He walked 2, struck out 2, gave up 2 hits. So a lot of 2s on the board there. So Danny Jackson going for the complete game victory. Complete game victory chance for Danny Jackson. He's going to face Gladden, Smalley, and Gagne here in the top of the 9th of a 9-2 ball game. Whoop, that one didn't go through. Let's try that again. 110 against the lefty. Base hit. Base hit Dan Gladden. Base hit for Gladden. He will get a base hit. He will get a single to start the top of the 9th. And that'll take us to Roy Smalley. Of course, with the score being 9-2, they're not going to hold him on, and he's not going to do anything. He's going to sit there, not doing defensive indifference. 2-2 for Smalley against the lefty. He's hit by a pitch. Sure he wasn't happy about that in a 9-2 game, getting plunked. Don't know if that's going to cause any bad blood going forward or not. Here's Gagne. They will pinch hit for Butera, just for the heck of it. But here's Gagne. 3-7 for Gagne, struck him out. Strikeout number 6 for Danny Jackson. We will get a pinch hitter for Butera. They will go to their bench, and they will call upon backup catcher Tim Laudner to pinch hit. Tim Laudner getting a call here, pinch hitting in the 9th. Tim Laudner. So we'll bring Laudner on and get his numbers. Laudner on the replay is hitting .291, 11 homers, 23 driven in. He's definitely overperformed. He's only a 191 hitter real world. He's only 191 in 288 at bats. But in 117 at bats, he's hitting .291. Let's see what he can do here against Danny Jackson. 6-8 for Jackson. That's going to be a single to center field. Dan Gladden will come around to score. They won't even throw because not being held makes him an 18, and the +2 from Wilson's a 20. So automatically he's going to score. Smalley will stop at second. Pinch hit RBI single from Tim Laudner. And now the Royals have to wonder if Danny Jackson can finish what he started or whether they're going to need some help out of the pen. if they have to go to the pen, they do have Bob Shirley, Jerry Don Gleaton from the left side, Steve Farr, and Quisenberry from the right side. Quisenberry's been kind of overused this year, so we really don't want to go that route. Could go to Jerry Don Gleaton. In fact, Gleaton is loosening in the bullpen just in case. Here's Al Newman. That's a 6-6. That's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Salazar. He's a 2E16 for Salazar. A favorable D20, and we could have a game-ending double play. 2 and a 16, or he's a 2E16, so a 2. And an 18 is a G1, so we're just checking for an error. He's an E16 shortstop. You got to avoid 14 and 17. So unless these total 14 or 17, the game will be over. And they do not. They total 6. So the run will come in before that in the previous couple of at-bats. But in the meantime, it is going to be a 6-4-3 double play that ends the ball game. Another Giovanni's tailor-made double play to finish the ball game. And Danny Jackson gets the complete game victory for his team. And it certainly pushes the Twins further and further behind Oakland A's. So we go to the box score. Wrap this one up. Get our totals for Kansas City: 9 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. For Minnesota, 3 runs, 10 hits, and no errors. Danny Jackson scattered 10 hits and 3 runs, but got wonderful run support. No walks, that was important, and 6 strikeouts. So he improves to 8-3. Straker drops to 3-5. George Brett with the grand salami. So he certainly had a good day, 2 for 4 with a grand salami. But Danny Jackson, complete game victory, will give him the player of the game. Hope you all, Dan, hope you have a nice weekend as well. Of course, tomorrow morning, or not tomorrow morning, tomorrow afternoon around noon Eastern, we'll have the NBC Game of the Week on Fall Classic Baseball. That will be at Royal Stadium again, but back to 1979 for the Yankees and the Royals in that one. Sunday will be Sunday Basic Sunday in Strat-O-Matic Basic 1962. I'm not sure what the game's going to be yet. I haven't picked it, but I'll pick one of them and play a basic game, basic rules game for Sunday Basic Sunday. And before that, on Saturday evening, will be the final round of the Arnold Palmer Bay Hill Invitational in History Maker Golf. That will take place roughly around 8 o'clock Saturday night Eastern. But aside from all of that, hope you all have a great weekend, whatever you have planned. And until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and we will see you all down the road. Tabby, what you doing over there, Ruth?